You know, I've been a fan of these movies from, you know, obviously Wall Street, Too Big to Fail, The Big Short, you know, but this is a whole different take. What was it saying yes to taking on this project?
For me, it was the disparity of wealth that's going on in our country, like hearing from the little person against a system that they feel is rigged, and it's such a theme of and a real sorry, it's so important with what's happening right now, and it's happening everywhere, and it's not just within Wall Street. It's all across the country, and this was one way to talk about it.
Mhm. But you're infusing a little bit of comedy in here. You know,
Yeah.
how does that work with you? And you're still trying to tell the story that people know about, but adding some humor to it.
Humor, it to me, is life. It's like movies have their genres, but in life we use humor all the time in every situation, whether it's to deflect, whether it's his armor, whether it's to diffuse a situation. It's just how we interact, and to me, that just feels organic to how to tell a story. And these are very human stories, and there's always humor involved. It's never at the expense of the actor or the character. It's part of the situation.
How much did you get involved in terms of the research so that where you can understand the jargon that's going on so that we, the audience, can get it?
It's like we wanted to. It's like ultimately it's very simple. It's like, and this was a journey. We had a lot of information in there for a while, and then we would strip it back because we found out that our characters and what they're doing emotionally tell us what's going on and what the stakes are, and that was a much more engaging way to tell the story than through numbers.
You have the two guys with the initials of PD. You know, how does it work out where these guys can be believable as brothers between Paul, Dano, and Pete Davidson?
You know what? It's again we drew from like real life. It's like you see the real Keith Gill and Kevin Gill. Kevin's posted a lot. He's quite a character. He's Postmates. He did run naked in college. He's got a lot of energy, and it was as soon as I saw Kevin, I was friends with Pete, and I thought this could really work. And for Paul Dano, he's very much got the energy and what we needed for our Keith Gill character. So it was a very exciting combination for me because they are such extremes in terms of their energy and also how they approach the work. Pete is very off the cuff. You're never quite sure what we're going to get, and Paul is very methodical and such a seasoned actor that he's very focused on the scene, the content of the scene. And so I was curious and excited to see how those two would play together.
You're working again with Seth and Sebastian and Nick. Obviously, they seem to make a good pair together. Even though they're not always on the same screen together.
Yes.
But talking about those three, and is it the same dynamic?
I loved working with both Seth Rogen, Sebastian Stan, Nick Offerman. There is a tone to the work that I do. There is this dance of humor and drama, and there are actors that can really do that and keep it emotional, keep you invested in it, but you can laugh at the appropriate times. So they have that in their arsenal, and so we connect well with the material, and we can fall into rhythm pretty quickly on what we're trying to get out of a scene. So I was thrilled that they all were willing and available to jump on.
I've watched your background over the years. You've done different work. You work with different people. I'm going to bring it out now. You have to know it has nothing to do with film, but you've worked with Ryan. You've worked with Margot. You've seen the success of Barbie. How happy is it that you've worked with these individuals and you see them together in a big blockbuster?
I actually only recently saw Barbie and loved it. And I think they did such an incredible job in terms of tone, what they pulled off, what they managed to do in terms of the humor, the fun, all of that, but then there's a message underneath. It's got so much value. And to have that land in such a profound way, I thought it was amazing. I was thrilled for them.
At the end of the day, it's the money. What do you want audiences to get out of this that relates to the real world?
When this experience was happening and when there was a lot of money that was lost, there was a lot of fallout from, is the system rigged? There was a lot of outrage. And that outrage stuck with me, and that's something that I want people to feel when they come out of this film. It's going to be a fun, wild ride, but ultimately there's this outrage and frustration at a system that isn't working, and hopefully it'll generate conversation.
All right, we're good.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you. Good question.